This team is really good. More importantly, they're really fun to watch. They move the ball. They're efficient on offense. They may never lose. This might just be a basketball school. On Wisconsin, let's talk about it.
You are Locked On Badgers, your daily podcast on the Wisconsin Badgers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is going on? Happy Friday, Badger fans. Coming off a big victory, a good victory against a solid UCF team. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. New customers place $5 bet. You get started with $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. If you win your first $5 bet, that's FanDuel.com. I'm your host, Ryan Herring, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are here every single day with you. I think everybody probably knows the big man down there, Rajiv. I don't know. We haven't had Cannon on for a while. So that's Cannon over there. He's a hooper as well. Let's kick it around, guys. Big picture. What are your thoughts right now, Rajiv, coming off that win?
Yeah, it was a good team win. Very solid. I think that, obviously when your center gets in foul trouble early, I think we had some really good play off the bench. To me, it's a good team win. Minutes were well played, a lot of good effort off the bench. Not perfect, but it was a solid win. I mean, we were basically controlled the entire time. Not a lot to complain about. A lot of good things to talk about. Kamari Mcgee off the bench. Fantastic game from him. John Blackwell and John Tonje just continue to be like this incredible dynamic duo that's really going to take us far. I mean, and I feel like, we're playing fast. We're playing up tempo, really good passing, really crisp play, a little bit of sloppiness at the end of the first half, but that's going to happen when you're up 20, weird spot. It's just, I think I'm just impressed with this team's fight tenacity, and it's deeper. I mean, we always thought it was going to be deep, but I think the play you're getting, the people you're seeing are a little bit different than maybe what we expected. And they're really playing hard and they're playing well. I just feel like it's the perfect way to start out the season. We've got some tough games coming up. A tough one against Pitt on Sunday, by the way. They looked really good again in their game. But yeah, I mean, all around team win. And I like that because there's going to be times when you have foul trouble from crowd. There's going to be times when guys aren't hitting shots, but we have so many weapons in so many areas of the floor. It really gives us an advantage when we play tough teams.
Hey, Cannon, before you jump in on that, I think I'm getting feedback off your mic or something there. Do you hear that, or is that just me?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Then maybe that's better.
I'm going to take my phone out of its case.
I'm going to mute you quickly, try to fix that, and then you come back in. No, I agree, Rajiv. I thought the ball movement in particular was absolutely at a incredible level in this game. I want to give you a stat here. This is remarkable. This Badger team today, 5 players with at least 3 assists. That doesn't happen. 5 players with at least 3 assists, and Crowell led the way with 4. That type of ball movement, this doesn't happen. And it also doesn't happen if players aren't bought into the system, because how many decent shots does this team pass up to get one more in the corner? How many decent shots you have a guy driving in, and there's times I'm like, no, dude, shoot the ball. That's a good look. And they kick it out to a wide open 3-point shooter. The unselfishness on this team means 2 things. It means Gard has these guys bought into the system, has them bought into what they need to do to be successful. And it also means that these players fit really well together, and they all understand their roles, and they understand that if they give it up, later on they're going to get it back. This team, when the ball moves like this in basketball, it's a really fun sport to watch.
Yeah, that's the thing about the team win, right? That's why it's such a good team win. It's not just individual stuff. Like last year, we saw a lot of stuff with Store and a lot of individualized things. This is not an individual thing. It's all about the team.
Are we
Cannon?
good?
You got me now, Cannon?
I think we got you. Yep,
are you guys good? All right, cool. I have to agree, though. The most surprising thing about to me is the passing of this team. I didn't expect us to be such a good passing team, but we moved the ball so well, and everything is within the flow of the offense. Like you said, Ryan, we'll pass up a good look to get an even better look. And I think everybody knows in the team that if I pass up a look, I know I'm going to get one later in the game. So I'm not going to force this one. I'm going to get it to the guy out here, get a more open 3, or dish it inside, get an easy look at the rim. So that's the biggest surprise to me, is how good we are of a passing team, because I didn't expect that coming in, knowing that we didn't really have a true point guard. So I didn't know how well our passing or our offense of initiation would be, but we've been excellent so far at that.
That's a good point, Rajiv. Coming into the year, one of our biggest questions was point guard. Who's going to help facilitate? Now, I think Crowell has obviously stepped up there, but this does not look like a team that's struggling to initiate offense. Let's flip it around. Ken, we'll start with you. Player of the game today. Somebody that you're going to highlight today for this one.
I know you guys are probably going to go Blackwell, but I'm going to go Mcgee. I think Kamari off the bench in the first half, when he came off the bench, that's when we started to pull away. He brought the energy off the bench. Everybody started to get uplifted, and then we started rolling. So to me, he was super efficient today. What was he, 5 for 6, 6 for 7 or something like that? 3 for 4 from the three-point line. Yep. He did a great job passing and breaking the press. To me, I feel like he was the reason we started to stretch that lead out. We started to go. So to me, he has to be my player of the game.
Yeah, for me, it is Blackwell just because I think he's an absolute machine, that guy. But good shout on Mcgee. And I mean, honorable mention to Mcgee and Winter and Tonje. Like, Blackwell to me is just, he's lethal. I mean, I posted right on Twitter after the game. He is just, that combo is so lethal. He's pure. He's smart. Everything he does, I just feel like is in total control. He never looks out of control. He never looks like he's lost. When he touches the ball, I think as a Badger fan, I just feel safe. I feel like a good thing is going to happen. He's going to make the right cut. He's going to make the right pass. Like, movement without the ball too. Like, the way he moves without the ball, like that cut he had in the first half, like a good find from Tonje, like stuff like that. He's so heady. And I mean, when you can depend on a guy like Blackwell, but as much as we are and we have, like, he's putting up great numbers and efficient numbers every single week. I absolutely give it to Blackwell. I just feel like this guy his ceiling is so high and he's on a great upward trajectory. I can't wait to see what this season brings for him.
Yeah, both those are great ones. I'm going to go with Tonje. Like, we'll just complete the trifecta. Tonje is once again showing you the incomplete floor game. Now I would have gone with Blackwell, but you went Blackwell. So I'm going to highlight Tonje. It was 15 points. But here's the thing. This is what he does. He also gives you 6 boards. Like, Tonje has settled into that 4 to 6 rebounds per game on a high efficient offense. Like, AJ Storr, who? I mean, we were chatting about this in our chat, our group chat, me, you, and Justin, Rajiv. It's like nobody here misses AJ Storr at all. You watch John Tonje play and you're like, yeah, you can go to Kansas, bro. We'll save money and get a better player, period. I'm sorry. Tonje is such an upgrade over AJ Storr.
He also
go ahead. Yeah.
He also had 4 assists. That was Colorado State. He really didn't do much. He didn't really pass the ball. But he shows he's a willing passer. So not only did he get you 6 boards, he got you 4 assists. I mean, he's contributing way more than just scoring.
Jason Tim says, how about Gilmore playing some really gritty, tough minutes?
Man, I think, honestly, the entire bench, right? Gilmore, Mcgee, like Amos, like everybody had good minutes. That's why I like the team win is the best way you can describe it because they just played so well. And I think you hit the nail on the head, Ryan, when you talked about like the gelling of the team, right? And like that was something different from last year. It does. It just feels like they're all playing for one another because that's why you're getting those minutes off the bench, right? Like looking at a guy like Winter today, who obviously he's a starter, but he was forced to play a ton more minutes because Crowell's foul trouble. He gave it out there, man. Like he was fighting. He was 5 for 8 at, I think, 13 points, maybe. I mean, just a good, solid, good game from Winter. He still has some things to clean up. He's still young. But I just feel like wherever you look, you're seeing a guy that's working hard, that's playing up a level. They're just playing together so much better than they were. That's showing in the passing, the defense, everything you look at. It's like, yeah, they look like a really good team, which means we're going to be hard to beat. Like throughout the year, this is not going to be a team you're going to roll over because when you, like we've said many times, you got 5 guys out there who can shoot the 3. You've got people who can make passes. You've got cutters everywhere. They're playing up-tempo offense. Like this is not an easy team to beat. And I think so far, what a great start for Greg Gard. We don't talk about Greg Gard a lot, but man, I mean, we talk about him the other way. He deserves a lot of credit for what this team is doing right now.
I think another thing about, we've definitely shot more threes than we have in past years here, but I think on nights that we don't shoot the ball well, I don't think that'll kill us too bad because we've also made a conservative effort to get the ball to the paint. We've also driven into the paint. So I think us as a team being all smart players, if we realize that we're not getting the looks from 3 or we're not hitting from 3, we're just going to start going to the paint. We're going to draw fouls. I mean, today we didn't really shoot the ball well from the foul line, but neither team did. I mean,
those rims are weird. That's a weird shooting environment.
Very, very weird. I want to comment on them because they just sounded terrible anytime the ball hit the rim. But yeah, I think this team's going to be very hard to beat because I've also seen an upward trajectory in our defense. We've definitely, oh, Jesus.
What the heck happened to Cannon?
My backlight went out. our defense has definitely gotten better throughout every single game. I think it's gotten better and better and better. Besides that one Monday night game, I mean, that's kind of an outlier just because that's kind of a hard game to get up and ready for. But the more we go on throughout this year, we're going to be a super tough team to beat, especially because we shoot the ball well. And if we don't shoot the ball well, we can draw fouls and we can get to the line and finish at the rim.
Yeah, I think you made a really good point there. This is a team that today shot about 33% from three. And we've talked a lot about the reliance on threes. What's going to happen when they don't shoot an elite clip? They didn't shoot a great clip today, but to your point, they used the three. What this offense has evolved to is they're using spacing in the three-point line to open up driving lanes. You open up driving lanes with smart players, they pump fake, they get to the rim, and they get fouled. Tonje and Blackwell especially are elite at that, but Kamari will go in there and he'll try to finish on somebody. By the way, speaking of finishing, we also saw Jack Janicki try to do something. But not to distract from my overall point, I just remembered that quickly when I said finishing.
Nice.
But this team is so good at shooting and spacing and moving the ball quickly that they're forcing bad closeouts. Bad closeouts lead to straight line drives. Straight line drives lead to free throw attempts. So now you're scoring from three, but you're also scoring right at the rim. That's an incredibly tough combination to guard. It really, really is. And I thought that was a great point, McCannon.
You couple that with the great free throw shooting that we have too, right? Like it all fits together. And yeah, like how many times last year did we complain about the lack of open lanes and it was just so stagnant at times. And it's not like that anymore. It's almost like a 180 reverse from what we saw last year.
Yeah, I want to kick it to you, Rajiv, because Nolan Winter, double today. You've been high on him since he was recruited. I mean, we all have, but you've really liked his game. Yeah. Starting to click a little bit to what you wanted to see.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a ways to go. I'm not here to say that he's looking amazing yet, but it's like little by little, yeah, it's starting to click. And I think when he has games like this where he's got to play a majority of the minutes, he needs that, and he needs that kind of repetition and being out there. He's getting more confident with the ball. He's getting better with defensively. Not great, but he's getting better. Obviously, he can shoot the three. I thought his effort rebounding tonight was better than it was. I think everybody's was, by the way. I'm not saying we're a good rebounding team because that's a problem for us still, but I like that we were actually doing a little bit more, like trying to find the ball, find blocking out, like not just straight positional type rebounding. But yeah, so I think Winter's really improving there as well. He's got a long way to go, but the more confidence he plays with, the better he is because we know he's talented. He just has to play a bit more confident, and that's coming little by little.
Yeah, I like the fight that he has. Like Winter will give you effort. I very rarely question Nolan Winter's effort. He has to fine tune a little bit, get a little cleaner, still probably get a little stronger if he's going to be our 5 next year, which I think he's going to be. So, but yeah, I like the effort there. Gannon.
I think he has one thing I like about him a little more than, I like Crowell at 5. Obviously, he's a bigger, but I think Winter's more of a natural shooter. He definitely has a better stroke than Crowell does. So I think when he's on the floor, when he's playing our 5, I think it gives us more of a 3-point shooting threat, especially if we have Amos or Tonje playing the 4. But I also think he's gotten a lot better at defense last year, especially if he was playing the 5, especially in the Big Ten. He got bullied pretty bad in the paint. I mean, he fought, but he definitely got bullied. And I think he's gotten a little bit bigger, and he's definitely gotten way better at defending down low.
We'll go around the circle on this one. I'll start 6 games in. Give me something you will plant your flagpole in and say, I know this for sure about this team. I'm going to start here. This team is going to scare the crap out of teams defensively. They are going to create mismatch problems. They're going to shoot the ball well. This team is going to be the team that it feels like Wisconsin has faced the last several years in the tournament where they're like, oh, man, if that team gets hot, they can shoot you out of the building. That is this team. This team is offensively, I feel good saying it. Gard has adjusted his scheme. He has players that fit the scheme that he adjusted to. The players have bought in. And this team is going to be a dangerous offensive team the rest of the year. I feel comfortable saying that. Barring injuries, we can always throw it out there. But I feel very comfortable saying this offense isn't going anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good one. Obviously, I'll focus more on players. I think, to me, John Blackwell is an NBA player. I think that's very clear. He looks so elite, and he's taken such a step. We knew coming into the season that he had taken a step, right? We had heard that, but the fact that it actually comes to fruition now, that's very, very impressive. I would also say that Crowell continues to be an incredible passer as a 5, and it's not talked about a lot. Obviously, we're not talking about it a lot tonight because he got this ridiculous technical foul, which caused him to get in foul trouble early. But Yeah, like his ability to to pass, and especially against the zone, by the way, loved him coming up to the top of the key and quickly being able to turn and find that pass in the corner or wherever he needed to go. He continues to be one of the best big man passers we've ever had, and Blackwell's an absolute NBA star.
Oh,
NBA player.
Before he kicks to you, Joe Shalom, Blackwell's not an NBA player, Rajiv. Smiley face crying emoji. Thoughts?
I think he is clearly an NBA player. I mean, look, I'm not saying he's going to be an absolute stud in the NBA, but he's in his second year. He's going to grow even more than this, because it's just, to me, it's that poise that you see in the NBA players that you don't always see in college. Like, he has such a calmness about him that's what the elite players really have. And I believe he's an NBA player. To me, it's not close.
I agree. He'd be a solid 3-and-D player in the NBA. I mean, he has limitations athletically. He's definitely not the most athletic player. I think that's why Joe is probably saying he's not an NBA player, but he has all the intangibles and does everything right to be an NBA player. I see no reason why he shouldn't be an NBA player.
He reminds me really quick. I want to get to you, Cannon, on your plant the flag thing, but really quick on Blackwell. He reminds me of the Villanova type players, like the guys that that came from that system, were really well-rounded, could play defense, could shoot, could pass, knew the game. And like 4 or 5 of those off those Jay Wright teams ended up being NBA players. A couple of them role players, a couple of them stars. Blackwell's not going to be a star in the NBA because he doesn't have the elite athleticism. But I do think he's going to find a role as a 3-and-D guy. I think so. That's my opinion. I don't think it's after this year either, and that's okay. In fact, that's great for us. Cannon, go ahead.
I'm going to plant my flag. I'm going to say this is going to be one of, if not the best scoring Wisconsin team we've ever seen in a while. I just think we don't really have, besides Gilmore, I'll put Gilmore aside. Besides Gilmore, every single player that plays can score at all 3 levels. And to hit on the Gilmore point, I think what Gard's going to do down the stretch is, if we're struggling on offense, he'll play Amos more. And if we need some defensive stops, he'll start to play Gilmore more. I think that's what he'll do at that 4 spot. But this could be, in my opinion, and I'm ready to plant the flag, this could be one of the best scoring Badger teams in a long while, if not ever.
Yeah, I think listen, they're certainly on pace for that, the way they're lighting it up. Guys, Amos, stock up Angelo Cortez, stock up on Amos yet. Cannon, we'll go with you on this one.
I'm a big believer in Amos. He didn't shoot well today, but also I wasn't really upset with any 3 he took. They were all open looks, and he was in rhythm. He had a nice and one and a nice drive to the rim. I like what he brings. I also thought I didn't think he played bad defensively today. He had a couple of good defensive possessions where they hit a couple tough shots, but I like Amos. You guys might say stock down, and that's okay. I understand it, but I think Amos brings something to this team at the 4 that we just don't have. And I feel like when Amos is on the floor, we're so much better spaced compared to when a Gilmore is playing. So I like to stock up, but I like to hear your guys' points about this.
Yeah. So for me, first, I know that I think Kevin Brown was in there earlier saying he was a bad game. I think he was okay. He missed his 3s, but I agree, Cannon. I actually wasn't upset with any of the shots. Maybe one of them I think that I didn't like, but for the most part, if he makes a couple of those, we're singing a different tune. He had 5 rebounds tonight. I thought the end one was good, but I think his effort and his hustle were better today. He's not a perfect player, and he does have a ton of limitations. We know this, but he is going to provide an offensive spark at the 4 position, which we like to see. Defensively, I think he'll improve slowly throughout the season. I'm not ready to say stock up. I'm just kind of saying stock flat right now for me. Like, I have no issue with the guy. I want him to continue to get minutes. I'm definitely not out on him, and I definitely do not think he had a bad game.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Like, when he came in, I thought that was the guy in the offseason. I made no bones about it. I thought Amos was the star of the portal additions. So I had high expectations, and it kind of stocked down from where the initial expectations were. But if he gives you what he gives you tonight, that's fine. Shooters are going to shoot, right? Like, so if you go 0-4, but you're a good shooter and they're good looks, I don't care. I encourage that every single time. Water will find its level. He's a good shooter. Next game, he might be 3 or 4. Those are good looks. You want him taking those. There are still defensive lapses. Like, there's specifically one in the first half where he just was ball watching again, and there was a weak side cut, and he just doesn't get there. Yep, Jake said it right here. Continues to fall asleep on occasion. some of those are really apparent when you just watch them. And I'm guessing what I promise you that frustrates Gard way more than missing 4 open threes. But I like it. Like, he does give you something different on this team. He gives you athleticism. You need depth at the 4. I think he's incrementally getting better, and he's going to be a big piece of this depth going forward. So, yeah, I think stock the same. I'm right there with Rajiv.
The one thing I really like about Amos is he shoots the ball with so much confidence, and I love that, because the one thing as a shooter that I hate to see is inconsistency or indecisiveness. When you're shooting and you're indecisive, a lot of times it leads to bad habits, and that leads to bad shots. When he catches the ball, if he's open, he's going to let it fly. And I really like that, because that's confidence. Because, yeah, you're going to get games where he's going to go 0 for 3 or 0 for 4. But you're going to get games where he might go 4 for 4, 3 for 4. And when he goes 3 for 4 or 4 for 4, getting 12 points from Amos, playing 13, 14 minutes a game, is such a boost to our already amazing offense that I'm okay with him taking, oh my God, again. I'm okay with him taking 4 threes a game. I'm okay with that.
Let me ask you guys this. This is a great question. Red Shed in the chat. Seed prediction. Let's do an early seed prediction. Obviously, last year was a 5 seed. I'm going to stay at a 5, to be honest. Listen, this team is going to lose several games in the Big Ten, because they are going to get bullied. They're going to get out-rebounded. And I think there's going to be games where we don't overcome that. And there might be a 4-game stretch where we go 1-3 because of it. Like, this is a good team. I think it's still likely a 5-ish, maybe a 4, but I'm going to say a 5.
Yeah, I'm going to go 4. As that Arizona win is going to loom very large come March. True. Be a big deal. And I think this team is way better offensively than I think we expected them to be, at least than I expected them to be. Yeah, I'm going 4 seed.
I'm going to lean probably a 4, maybe a 5, anywhere between the 3 and the 6, anywhere between that. I'd probably lean 4. I think we'll win enough games. I think we'll be positive in the Big Ten. You're right, Ryan. We're going to struggle with some of the bigger teams that can rebound, especially with athletic 5s and 4s. But we're also going to beat a couple better Big Ten teams just because we can shoot the ball so well. There'll be nights where we shoot 50 or 60% from 3, and we're just shooting on fire, and everything seems to go in, like we did against Arizona. I mean, any 3 we took, it almost felt like it was going to go in, and that's just going to happen sometimes. So I like to think a 4 seed, 4 or 5.
Yeah, let's wrap it up with just a few more quick comments. Rajiv, that's a great point, by the way, that Arizona win. And by the way, UCF at the end of the year, that could be a pretty decent win, too. That's not a bad team.
Even Pitt tomorrow. Or on Sunday.
What's your feelings on Pitt? That's the other live one I have. Rajiv, you watched it. I didn't watch Pitt play.
Super athletic. Lowe looked amazing. It's going to be a fun game. They're a good team. They can shoot. They can move the ball really well. They can defend well. That's going to be tough. And there's a lot of games coming up on our schedule, by the way, that make this seeding really important. Marquette, Illinois, Butler. That's back to back to back. I mean, if we go 2-1 in those games, it's a whole different ballgame. We could be looking at even higher seeds. So the games are on our schedule to really make hay. But I'll tell you, the Pitt game on Sunday is going to be really fun to watch. I don't know how we're going to stop Lowe. He's really good, but I expect to win. But it's going to be a really good game and a very quality win if we get it.
I don't know who is doing this, but Joe Shalom says, don't compare this team to 2014-15. It's not even close yet. No. Nobody should be making that comparison. Let's be super clear.
It's probably because I said this is probably the best scoring, which...
Yeah, they could score at a higher clip, but yeah, that is not
comparing that team to this
team. We are not... I think we're where we are, like ranking wise, like a top 25 team. Yeah, I think that's probably where we're going to be most of the season, but we are nowhere near a top 5 team like that.
Just
always
try to get the top 10, please. We always get a top 10.
I always want to give flowers on this show. If you go back to last year, we did a show before the season where Cannon said Blackwell might be the MVP this year. That was last year. So we had a comment in here from Ken Payne. What's Cannon got for Powerball numbers? Because that Blackwell prediction was money last year. Cannon, giving you some flowers here on Blackwell. You were the early adopter.
Hey, I said it last year. It's because I watched film and I saw what I saw out of him. And I thought that he could do exactly what he did last year. Exactly what Johnny Davis did his freshman year. If you watch Johnny Davis's freshman year, He was mainly a wing or a corner sitter, and he'd get threes dished out to him, and he drained them from three. And what he do on the defensive end? He was a really good defender, and he defended a lot of the better players in the opposing team. That's exactly what Blackwell did. And so I kind of assumed he was going to get a big role, and he did. He did a little bit better than I thought, but it's just the signs just pointed there. He was definitely not a freshman coming in as a freshman in my eyes.
I love this comment from High Buy. When did Logan Paul become a Badgers fan? Go ahead. Yeah,
couple of good comments I wanted to throw up. Selgani says no main point guard and we don't have a turnover issue. That's really impressive too. Like again, we've talked about breaking the press and how well we've done with that. Maybe not against a better team. I think you were saying that earlier, Ryan, but still it's nice to see that. And then Kevin Brown says have to see how they play on the road. We're going to learn a lot in a few weeks. Like December schedule. Just look at the Badgers schedule in December. It is brutal.
That Marquette game is going to tell us a lot.
Absolutely. And the Butler game at Hinkle Fieldhouse. That's going to be a crazy game. So yeah, but the tests are coming, but so far they've passed all the tests that they've been given. That's all they can do. And they've clearly taken steps from last year. So the excitement is real. And I don't think it's unfounded. I think there's a reason to really be hyped about this team.
I also want to point out one more thing. Arizona plays tonight. They play Duke. That will also tell me a lot. Because if Arizona goes out there and they beat Duke pretty handedly, I know this is a good team. Because we know what Duke is. Duke's good. They got younger freshmen, but they're a good team. So if Arizona goes out there and they handle Duke pretty well, I know this team is really good.
Slim Lewis says Chucky was ridiculously overrated, including by Locked On Badgers. I think we talked about his defense a lot last year, about how it wasn't as good as it needed to be. But I still think he's a quality point guard. Like, so I don't think anyone, I don't know, maybe you're right. I'm not here to run away from any takes I've got. I did want to ask you guys this. We'll wrap it up on here, unless you guys see any other comments for sure. Who are your three best players on this team?
Blackwell, Tonje, Crowell.
In order?
Yeah, do it in order. Yeah. I'm mostly curious who you guys.
I'm gonna go based up right now what I'm seeing. I'm gonna go Tonje, Blackwell, and Klesmit.
I think it's Black. Oh man. So here's the thing, right? Those two wings, Blackwell and Tonje, are both so close together. They're playing so good.
I think Tonje's maybe a better scorer, and Blackwell's a better defender. And I just don't know where to balance it. But that 41 point game from Tonje is really tough in my head. So I have to give him the edge right now.
So I think it's Blackwell, Tonje, Kles is I think my top three in that order. This is the thing. Like I talk a lot about Crowell. I just think he's a solid center. That's it. Like not much more, not much less. I just get tired of people thinking he's trash. When there's a game later this year and he's not very physical and he doesn't play well, don't forget games like this where in the first half he was maybe the best player on the court for 8 minutes. He's just fine. But I think it's those three guards / wings are at the top of this team. And when they're playing together and they're playing really well, this team's going to be hard to beat because guard play wins in college. Guard play, wing play wins in college with shooting and ball handling. Guys, we'll wrap it up here. Any last thoughts before we sign off? Obviously, Badger game tomorrow. We will be here for live reaction. I don't know for Chief if you're going to make that or not. Any last thoughts before we sign off for the Friday?
Everybody out there, give Free Tag some time. Let him develop. Stop calling for him to come in, because the worst thing to do to a freshman is put him in when they're not ready and they start committing turnovers and they get in their head. So please, just let him take some time. Let him get in. He'll work his way in when he's ready.
Listen, for me, I think the excitement level is real.
We lost you, Rajiv.
2 or 3 Jalen Williams per year. Oh my God.
Yeah, we lost you for a sec, Rajiv, on your last point.
Can you hear me?
Yep, got you now.
There's a lot to be excited about. Ultimately, I think there's flaws with this team. They're going to be flaws, but let's just give it time to develop. I think we're going to be really excited about what we see this year.
Yeah, Bo Ryan said, I did an interview with Brian Smith today talking about Jalen Williams. I was like, hey, we got Jalen Williams. Good stuff, right? He's like, yeah, you need 2 or 3 of those a year. And I was like, cool.
What did he?
We're probably not going to do that. I just don't know what to tell you. Final thoughts on this. Yeah, everything Rajiv said. honestly, I think he said it really well. I think this excitement's real. It's fun. It's just fun basketball. How many of the last several years of Badger basketball, like even when we were kind of winning, did it feel like just it wasn't very fun. The offense just kind of grounded out. There weren't a lot of great shots. There was those last second heaves in the shot clock from point guards. This just feels like modern basketball. It feels fun. This feels here's one. This feels like what football wanted to do with the air raid. Modernize, make it more fun, make it more open, make it more efficient. And basketball, Greg Gard pulled it off up to this point. We're 6 games in, but it looks like Greg Gard has pulled that off. Whereas football, like we just fired the offensive coordinator, they didn't. So I think that's where I'll finish on that one. Guys, on Wisconsin, this basketball team's good. Let's wrap it up. We will see you tomorrow. Thank you so much for tuning in.